George Little, our board chair, had a last-minute problem. He couldn't make it, and he asked me very specifically to apologize to all of you, especially to Sheriff Peterkin, because if you knew the way George drives, you would know that from time to time he needs to call on Sheriff Peterkin for a little help with his tickets. So George wants to apologize to you and to all of your deputies. In just a minute, I'm going to recognize Twana McKnight. She really, along with what's her? Where is she? Where is Lady Sticks? Well, they're the ones who really put this together, and I'm going to recognize them in just a minute. But coming down with us this morning is my cross-the-street neighbor and the chair of our foundation board, Kathy McPherson. The Sand Hills Community College Foundation, as I think you know, makes it possible for every graduate of Hoke High School or every kid from Hoke County who is homeschooled or who goes to a charter school or a private school, as long as they've taken some classes with us during their high school years, they come to Sand Hills free. Now, you know President Biden is talking about free community college. I think it's a wonderful idea, but just like so many other areas, we're way ahead of the rest of the country. Here in Hoke County, we've already got free community college for kids who come to Sand Hills, and we're happy to have that. And that's all made possible by our Sand Hills Community College Foundation, which is headed by a board, which in turn is headed by a board chair, and that is young Kathy McPherson. Kathy, you want to say something?
First of all, it's been a while since anybody's called me young. Thank you, Dr. Dempsey. I just want to welcome you all here on behalf of the Foundation Board. But before I do that, I just want to say it makes my heart feel so good to be here. My husband's mother, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents grew up in Hoke County. And when I started becoming a member of this family almost 50 years ago, we loved coming to Rayford, coming to Hoke County, and even though this is my first time on this wonderful campus, this is like coming home. It does my heart so good. I have such an affinity for the people of Hoke County, and thank you for letting me be part of that. The foundation, as Dr. Dempsey said, helps bring students to our campus, not only to pay for tuitions, but if they have other needs that they can't afford, the foundation will help them. And our goal really is to make sure that they get that education that they need, because education transforms lives more than any gift that we can give our children. And when the foundation raises money, they don't raise money for money's sake. They raise it because they see a need and they've got to take care of that need. And we really feel strongly about that. So thank you from the foundation board. We welcome you all, and it's just a pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy. You know, Kathy just mentioned the campus, and it is a beautiful campus. It's going to get beautifuler and beautifuler because I know that Deb Dallas is here. Oh, there she is. And I know that Chairman Sutherland is here. And between the three of us, if we can't figure a way to get this science and math high school built on this campus, I'll be surprised. That's going to be the next area of emphasis. In addition to which, Brenda Jackson, who is around and somewhere, everybody kind of looks the same, you know, when you're looking at a crowd like this. Brenda is our chief operating officer, and she told me yesterday that for the first time in the history of the college, we're going to be able to have transportation for the people here in Hoke County. We're going to have a bus service to bring people to this campus and a bus service to bring people from this campus up to the Moore County campus. And that is, yeah. That is, we're going to do some of that with our COVID-19 money. I was just saying to Chairman Sutherland, it's the old saying, it's an ill wind that blows no one good. Well, you know, that means that no matter how bad it is, somebody's getting helped. And this COVID-19 thing and the money that it's going to come to Sandhills is going to enable us to do that. And hopefully we'll be able to work on this building and create a math and science opportunity for the young people of Hoke County. I just saw in the paper that Apple is coming to Raleigh with 1,000 jobs. Now, I'm not sure I want 1,000 jobs anywhere unless it's Raleigh, because traffic is bad enough in most places. But they're only coming there because they know that there are kids there who are trained in math and science. And that's what this new high school is going to do, just like the Sandhoke High School has done for so many, many, many years. Is Colleen here? She's working today. She's probably, kids don't get out. When do kids get out? May 13th. Oh, okay, so she's getting ready for graduation. Well, you know how successful that program has been and how much it's meant to us at Sandhills and to the people of this community. So much so that we designated an associate vice president to oversee all the matters here in Hoke County, on the Hoke County campus. And the person we chose to do that was a natural, of course, Dr. Twana McKnight, our Hoke County campus director, associate vice president for Hoke activities. And what else is in your title, Twana? You know, she's a remarkable woman. She started life with 2 strikes against her. She's from Brooklyn, New York. And she's a dookie. But, you know, the count was 0-2, and she saw a fastball right there at the letters, and she hit it out of the park. And she's just done a great job here in Hoke County. We're very proud of her and what she's done. And she's organized a lot of this stuff. Twana, why don't you come up and tell us a little bit about the beautiful statue and the committee that chose it.
Good morning. I'm going to say a few other words, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the statue and the committee who assisted me in putting some thought into the statue. Okay. Again, my name is Dr. Twana McKnight, and first I just want to thank you all this morning for joining us as we celebrate the achievements of Dr. Mary Kemp Thomas. I want us to reflect a second. Okay, I want us to reflect a second. Just imagine the delight of completing a high school equivalency diploma, the excitement of achieving an associate's degree, the elation of obtaining bachelor and graduate level degrees, and ultimately the pride of the attainment of a doctoral degree. I think we all agree that these are some amazing achievements, right? I believe you would also agree that these achievements are more amazing if all of them were done by one person in one life. Do you agree? So today, we honor the gathering together to recognize Dr. Mary Kemp Thomas, who has remarkably accomplished all of the aforementioned achievements in one lifetime and forged a path that very few has walked. Dr. Mary Kemp Thomas is recognized as the first Sandhills Community College graduate. She was exceptionally accomplished and demonstrated an extraordinary commitment to improving the lives of others. She is regarded as an inspiration to countless Hoke County citizens because of her outstanding contributions to the community as an educator, a community leader, as well as a pastor. Dr. Thomas served others with a glad heart and with great compassion. She embodied what is possible, and she inspired many to see yesterday as a stepping stone, today as a new beginning, and tomorrow a limitless possibility. This sculpture that is before you is a testament to the spirit and selfless service Dr. Mary Kemp Thomas dedicated to the individuals whose lives she touched. It is our hope today that all who gather near the sculpture exemplify the same ability to believe and inspire others. I want you all to remember before you leave here today that your life too is bigger than just you. The following excerpt from a poem by Howard Rayner, who is a Native American poet, provides inspiration for the sculpture that we will unveil later in the program. Grab hold and take this hand that reaches out to you. If I can lift you today, you will look back and grab the hands of 1,000 more. Thank you. And as Dr. Dempsey mentioned, I also wanted to mention to you all, he kind of talked about the masterminds behind the sculpture. I shared with Dr. Dempsey, I think, or maybe with Brenda, that this has been one of the most challenging things that I have been tasked with since I came to Sandhills. Dr. Thomas is such a phenomenal person here in Hoke County. I've never had the privilege and the honor of meeting her, but just through conversations with the family and friends, I feel like I've known her all of my life, and she seems like she's part of my family. As we were going through the process to pretty much identify what the sculpture was going to look like, or whether we were going to even do a sculpture to begin with, there were several conversations that ensued, and we looked, and I basically went to the family. Lady Sticks, who, is she here yet?
Where is she?
Okay. Well, Lady Sticks and I had several conversations about Dr. Thomas, what Dr. Thomas liked, who she was as a person, and the two of us together started having conversations and trying to make decisions, and she felt like it was very important to make sure that we included the family members. So Dr. Thomas's son and daughter, as well as their spouses, we all got together in a little room right across the way there, and we started having conversations about what we wanted it to look like. And I had several different options of several different sculptures. Conversations probably ensued for a couple of days, really trying to identify what was going to be the best thing that we can put on this campus to really represent her and the spirit and who she was as a person and what she meant to Hoke County. So what you see today is what we were able to come up with that we feel like really exemplifies who Dr. Thomas is as a person, what she meant to her family members, her friends, as well as what she meant to her community. I believe you guys will all enjoy it. And I just want to say before I go back to my seat that I just want you all to know the wonderful experience it has been for me to work with the family in order to bring this idea to fruition. Because when Lady Sticks came to Dr. Dempsey, she wanted Dr. Thomas's name on a building. And we went from a building to what you see here today, and I believe that everybody would be happy with what we came up with. So again, this is to honor Dr. Thomas, and I want to thank the family for all of the support that you have provided to me throughout this process so that we could have ensured that this day was going to be a phenomenal day for such a phenomenal woman. Thank you.
I would just like to say good morning to everyone. I will be very brief. When I was asked if I would make a few remarks about the community in which she lived, and I told them, okay, I would. And I consider it a privilege to be able to do so. I lived in the same community that Dr. Mary Kay lived in. And that community is Silver City. Many of you may have heard that name before, and for some of you may not have ever heard of that name. But Silver City is a small community located in the northwest section of Hoke County. So, how many of you have been in the area of Silver City before? Okay. You know, in Silver City, we called Dr. Mary Kay Thomas Dr. Mary Kay. And we left it right there, Dr. Mary Kay. One thing that I want to say about that neighborhood, I moved in that neighborhood in 1973 when I came back to Rayford and I was living in Fort Bragg. I moved to the Silver City community, and one thing I found that community to be, that neighborhood to be, a neighborhood where all the neighbors knew each other. They were there for each other. They had each other's back. It was a neighborhood where children were taught to respect and obey their elders. It was a faith-based neighborhood that valued Christian principles. It was a neighborhood that you could feel the love. Dr. Mary Kay was a jewel in that community. She may be gone today, but will never be forgotten. There are so many memories that she left. I will just name a few memories that I have of her, and I believe that some of the others that are here may have some of the same memories. I remember the radiant smile that she had when she would greet you. It was always with a big smile. There were always encouraging words that she had to say. Many acts of kindness. She was a person that visited the sick and the shut-in the community, and she prayed for them. We don't see that today, but Dr. Mary Kay did that. In another memory that I have of her, I remember that wide brim hat and the classy suits she would wear. Dr. Mary Kay would not leave her house for church or any function where she had been invited without this wide brim hat and those classy suits. I said I put so much attention on the hats and suits, I forgot to look at the shoes. But I know they were the same. But most importantly, I would like to say I remember her as a godly Christian lady that will always be in my heart. So at this time, if you are from the Silver City area, I would like for you to stand and show the family the love that you have for Dr. Mary Kay. Thank you so much for coming. As much as she loved the Silver City community, Dr. Mary Kay also loved and shared her life, her talents, and skills with the students of Hoke County. She began her career in the Hoke County schools in 1963. She served in the following capacities. And I would like for you to just look at the steps that were taken before she reached the goal that she had in life. She was a school home visitor. Many of you today may not know what a school home visitor was, but this was very important to our school community during the early 60s, before integration. If a student was absent, we had to have somebody to visit that home to see why that child was not in school. Dr. Mary Kay was one of those women. She was a full-time substitute teacher. She became a teacher assistant, an interim teacher, and after receiving her credentials, she became a full-time elementary teacher at West Hoke Elementary School in Rayford. Today, with us, we have one of the principals that was at West Hope Elementary School when Dr. Mary Kay taught there, Mr. Parnell Miles. Will you please raise your hand? And in 1992, she was chosen by her peers to become West Hope Middle School Teacher of the Year. Dr. Mary Kay was a phenomenal woman. She was a master teacher. She was an outstanding educator. She strengthened the community through her presence and service. And she retired in 1993 with 30 years of service to the Hope County school community. Her legacy will forever live on in the lives of those who knew her. And on behalf of the Silver City community that are present here today and the Hope County schools, I would like to say thank you for allowing us to share in the honor of her memory today. Thank you.
Good morning. You know, I almost stayed up writing this long speech. I'm glad I didn't, cause I would have been repeating some things. Let me just start out by thanking Dr. Dempsey. Let's give him a hand. Dr. McKnight. She is a golden gem, if there's a such thing as a golden gem. She's a gem. And Lady Sticks. Oh, there she is, right back in the back. But I was seriously thinking about, what is it that I was going to say, and they reminded me to talk brief. I said, y'all must didn't know my mama. She never spoke brief. But I did want to say, what would mama say? What would mama do? The first thing mama would do is thank God. Because she was such a phenomenal woman. She would then thank her husband, because we cannot do this without my father being mentioned. I'm going to hold it together. He was a man who stood with her with honor. He was a sawyer. You might not know what a sawyer is. They work at the sawmill. And during that time, before Mom started working in education, she was working right up the road here at the turkey plant. We didn't call it House of Rayford. We just called it the turkey plant. And when she wasn't at the turkey plant, she was cleaning houses. She worked for people such as Israel Mann. Some of you all might remember Israel Mann, the Epsteins, the McDonald's. But Mom knew that she could not be in that situation all of her life. But she was a leader. Even when she worked for the turkey plant, she was one of the shop stewards in the union because she had vision. But going back briefly to my dad, he would get off of work from the sawmill and would take her up to Pinehurst, Moore County, after he got off of work so that she could work on her GED. He did the same thing when she started working on her associate degree. And let me tell you, that takes a lot. And I think that's why when we look around, we see who's here, that we understood that we also had to do things different. I actually went to a funeral the other day, and the gentleman was talking about footprints in the sand. And it was interesting how he posed it. But he began to talk about, he said, you can have footprints in the sand because you don't know who's going to walk in those footprints. He said, but you got to keep this in mind. Sometimes the wind can blow those footprints away. Sometimes the rain can come in and wash them away. He said, so what's important is that you periodically take a stone and put it down so that when that is washed away, there's a stone for the next person to be able to step on. That was my mom. She was the greatest person that I can remember, and I've known quite a few people, but nobody like my mama. But I also would like to say, which is something I find kind of interesting, when Mom started doing her work in Silver City, that was Upchurch School. What's the name of the building that we're in front of right now? Upchurch Hall. Now, isn't that just amazing? A beginning and an ending with the same name? But she was just that kind of a person. She always wanted to make sure that she could pull everybody with her. She didn't do this. She pulled. And she would ask you, come on, because we have somewhere to go. I thank you all again. I am going to be obedient and not be long, but I do thank this college. I thank the board of trustees, and I thank my family. I thank my Uncle Arthur, Kemp, Uncle John Kemp, and the other Uncle Milton Kemp, and Mama's only surviving sister, Frances Stewart, who's in Florida. She could not be here. But nobody could say Mary Kay like Uncle Arthur. You say, Mary Kay? We love you all. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming. My sister.
Well, I don't think there's anything I can say that has not been said. To Dr. Dempsey, thank you. Lady Stick, thank you. Dr. McKnight, thank you. You don't know what this means to us for this to happen today. Ebony, job well done on your thoughts from the very beginning. You did just what you seeked out to do. And I personally just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. To all of the family, to all of the friends, to the staff here, thank you, thank you, thank you. To the family, thank you. Vernon said we cannot do this without mentioning my daddy. So we cannot also be here without mentioning my sister. Yes. She would love to have been here. Mama would love to have been here. This is what Mama wanted. And it finally came to pass. And I am just so grateful that it happened today. So close to Mother's Day. What a Mother's Day gift. As Vernon said, he's trying to hold himself together, but I'm really trying to hold myself together. To those of you that came far away, to Dr. Bryant, thank you for coming from Raleigh. Others that came from, so many different places, but I especially wanted to just personally say thank you for coming. Cousin, for leaving work. I know you got to go back to work. Thank you. This is a day that I will never, ever forget. This statue that's here that I have not seen. I'm so excited about seeing it, and I know you're excited about seeing it. Mama was, as Vernon said, she was a woman that if you knew her, you would never, ever forget her. She was about pulling you up, taking you with her. She didn't want to leave you behind. She didn't want to step over you. She wanted you to come with her. Come with me. We got work to do. A godly woman, a woman that loved God from her heart. She didn't allow junk around her either. She didn't play. She said whatever she said, she meant what she said, and she said what she meant. She was a lady of many words, many, many, many words. I mean, so much wisdom. I will never, ever forget my mom as long as I live. I know you love her, and I love her too. I think you said she is. Somebody said she is. Not she was, because she still is. She is still here in all of our hearts. She is here. She will forever be here. I'm going to stop now, but I want to say thank you for coming, and God bless you.
You know, I'm so glad that you mentioned the fact that it's Mother's Day week. 5 days to Mother's Day, guys. You got those flowers ordered, the candy ordered, all that good stuff. I think we ought to ask the mothers in the audience to stand up and take a bow, because when you hear Jane and Vernice talk about their mother and talk about the impact that she had on their lives, you can't possibly, as a mother, fail to appreciate the impact that you're having on your own children's lives. And maybe, since Vernice mentioned his dad, we ought to ask all moms and dads to stand up and give ourselves a hand. And to be the kind of parents that your kids might one day be able to stand up and say what you have both said about your mom. That would be wonderful. Now, before I actually unveil a statue, I have to go back to Ebony Peterkin. There she is, with one of her mentors, Frances Wilson, and her husband Larry. I first met Ebony when she played in the band with Tim Haley at the Sand Hills Community College. As Tim said, you got to meet this woman who's quite a drummer. And I thought, well, quite a drummer. I mean, quite a trumpet player? Yeah, I could go with that. He said, no, you got to come down and hear her. She's quite a drummer. And believe me, if you've never heard Lady Styx, they don't call her Lady Styx for nothing. She can flat out play those skins, and she is a remarkable person, a remarkable talent, and a remarkably persistent person. A person who can take the germ of an idea, the mustard seed of an idea, and turn it into the mustard plant. She really is a remarkable talent, a remarkable human being, and we are so fortunate to have her back from the coast. She's back from the coast. She's no longer out there with Brad Pitt and those people. She's back here with us, and we're so happy for that. But not honestly, this does not happen without her. This does not happen without her. Now, I know that Twana and the committee have been waiting for weeks to actually unveil the statue. And as I heard her son and her daughter talk about the way she would reach down and lift people up, my eyes started to glow, because Twana, I told you she'd hit a home run. I think the bases were loaded. She just hit a grand slam, and I want Twana. And by the way, weren't her remarks beautiful? Yeah, really beautiful. But I want her, and of course the children, and you're in charge, madam, and who else? You want the committee to come up and help with the actual unveiling? Ladies and gentlemen, on with the show. Wonderful. I was standing there on the inlay, and I thought to myself, gee, this inlay is nice. And it occurred to me that the inlay, the entire base of the sculpture, and all the work that put it in place and made it possible is work done by the physical plant staff from Sand Hills Community College. So let's give them a hand. As Irish knows, she's on our Buildings and Grounds Committee. They're the ones that do the work. So we thank them for all the role that they've played.
On behalf of Dr. Dempsey, Sand Hills Community College, as well as myself, we would like to thank you all very much for coming out today and participating in this celebration to acknowledge and honor the achievements of Dr. Mary Kemp Thomas. We thank you for all of the love that you all shared today, the wonderful performances, as well as all of the insight that the family was able to give to us regarding Dr. Mary Kemp Thomas, because for those of us that do not know her or did not know her, I feel like we leave here today knowing that who she was and knowing how beautiful and such a phenomenal woman she was. We thank you all for attending today, and we wish you all safe travels on your journey back home. Thank you.
Thank you.